So I've been at Auburn since 2018, and Food U actually got started before I got here. So back about 2015, the director of campus dining and concessions at Auburn, his name is Glenn Lothridge. He's still here. He was sort of the brainchild of this, and he reached out to the Department of Horticulture, and he said, "I want to source locally produced fruits and vegetables and other products for campus dining. Can we work together?" And he met with one of my faculty members, Dr. Daniel Wells, and they started talking about it. And they began a program with what we call aquaponics. So they were raising tilapia fish in the greenhouse, and then they were using the nutrient-rich water to feed plants growing in the greenhouse, like cucumbers, tomatoes, peppers. And that's how it all got started. And then after that, progressively, there was a grant that got funded. There was a greenhouse expansion that occurred. I came on board. We got a federal appropriation to do research, and it's all sort of mushroomed and grown over time. But that was the sort of the impetus that got things going, was our campus dining partner who had some really innovative and amazing ideas. And now we've seen it blossom into something quite special. And I think the one thing I try and tell people about is that we try to break down silos. So at universities, like a lot of places, you've got this college and you've got this college and this college, and they all do their own stuff, but they don't necessarily work together. And then also we've got other units like dining. They're not a college, but they provide services to all of our students on campus. And so we have commercial elements on the campus. We've got academic elements on the campus, research and extension outreach. So we try to bring all the appropriate people together, and we've been able to establish a wonderful team. We're actually good friends, and we enjoy working together. So it's a perfect marriage, so to speak. The first and most important probably is that we provide fresh grown produce to one of the largest cafeterias on campus. It's called the Edge. It's our central dining facility, and we provide leafy greens for their salad bar on a daily basis year round. And we grow those in our vertical farms that we have on campus. And our students are the growers. And the vertical farms would not be on Auburn's campus if it wasn't for our partnership with Campus Dining, because our partner bought them. And our students get to work in there. They get paid. And it's 12 months of the year, growing any number of crops in these freight farms. And that's just one element of the whole Food U program, but it's probably the most successful one up until now. And what's also cool about it is we use it for our classes as well. So it's not just a grow facility. So Dr. Wells teaches a hydroponics class, for example, and his students go out there. And through the different programs that we have, we are able to recruit students to come and work with us. And so all the students that work in the Food U program are actually paid.
Yeah.
So they have a part-time job. They're obviously accountable for their work, which is good for them. It goes on their resume. They learn all kinds of different skills because, if we're growing things in a vertical farm, it's a little bit different than when we're growing them in a greenhouse, which is a little bit different than when we're growing them in raised beds outside or on the rooftop of a building. They might be growing the same species of plant in each of those different places, but the growing conditions are totally different. And the time of year when you would grow them and how you stagger your crops as it relates to the time of the year. And there's so many things that they have to learn. And then they're working with a customer, which is different than just doing a small research project or something. This stuff has to be good quality,
Right.
Yeah, another thing about it too is that we have students from lots of different majors. So they're not just horticulture students. They're not just College of Ag students. They are across multiple colleges, and the students are the ones that primarily recruit their friends and peers to be part of it. We got one really good student, they're really smart, they're really dedicated, they're doing a great job. Maybe they've got a friend that's in their dorm or in their fraternity or somebody that they hang out with, and they're like, hey, they're talking about what they're doing, and their friend says, wow, that sounds amazing. Can I come look and see? And they sort of help to recruit other good students, and word sort of gets out. So we don't really recruit students for it. They sort of self-recruit. And we've had amazing students year after year that have been really superb and have gone on to get good jobs. In fact, one of our students who worked in the vertical farms is now working for the Freight Farms company that sells
Awesome.
vertical farms. Yeah, she's a salesperson for them. And I think the fact that she worked with us for a couple of years and understood the system, how to troubleshoot it, and all the things that we were doing with campus dining, she was like perfectly suited for that kind of a job. So the students are working with faculty. So they're learning about the research, all the technical sides. They're working with each other, which means they have to learn how to work as a team. They're trying to learn how to solve problems because honestly, we don't have all the answers. Even though let's say you've got a vertical farm in a shipping container. Well, things go wrong. A pump can go out. Electricity could go out. You can have things that happen up on the rooftop of a building. You can have all manner of issues. Could be storms, could be excessive heat. If it's in a greenhouse, there's all other, there's pest management, all the different things that you have to learn so that you can start and finish a crop and then transition to the next crop. And then because they're working with high-end customers, whether it's campus dining or it's our luxury hotel and a very high-end restaurant, whether they're growing flowers or herbs or fruits or vegetables, they've got to be good quality. And, so they have to pay attention to detail. They have to learn how to solve problems and work with students from majors that aren't the same as them. So
Right.
maybe it's an engineering student working with a student from math and a student from English, and one of them and another one's in horticulture.
Yeah.
So they each bring sort of different skill sets to work on problem solving. And that's, I think, part of the beauty, because that's more like real life. You think about a greenhouse operation and how many different people work there and how many different skill sets are there. You might have an electrician, you might have a guy that focuses on the irrigation side, a pest management person. You got the horticulturist that's dealing with growth media and fertilization and lighting and all those kinds of things. And you need those diverse skill sets to solve problems and be successful. And so by bringing these different students together, it helps them to sharpen each other, which is really cool. And the other thing that we say is that it's an environment where they can make mistakes that aren't devastating. Let's say we got like 40 raised beds out there, and let's say it's one raised bed and all the plants die. Well, okay, that's an opportunity to learn something. Maybe the irrigation wasn't turned on in that particular one and it didn't get water for a week and everything wilted and died. Well, it's not the end of the world. But if a student goes into a 20-hectare greenhouse and they forget to do something and they're in charge, it could be financially devastating.
For
So
sure.
they have the opportunity to make mistakes. We encourage them to learn from that, of course, and it's not devastating if it happens. Like even in our freight farms, we've got these multiple walls where we're growing lettuce, and if the water line gets plugged and one of those walls doesn't get adequate water for even a few hours, and the lights are on, that product can wilt and it can be gone. And we've had that happen. And so we try and then that's an opportunity for the student to diagnose the problem, solve the problem, fix it, and come back in with the next crop. And our campus dining partner understands that we'll have hiccups along the way. And this is a university. We're not a commercial business, so there's some grace there. Most universities have some kind of a farm that students work on. We're developing a 16-acre farm on campus. It's actually a transformation garden. We're calling it the transformation garden. And that's where students will have hands-on learning experiences in all manner of crops, fruits, vegetables, herbs, medicinal plants, flowers, annuals, perennials. And we plan to build a state-of-the-art greenhouse there. So we've already got plans. We're just fundraising for it right now. But in that state-of-the-art greenhouse, our students will learn how to grow everything from cukes to tomatoes to peppers to strawberries to like romaine and a deep water culture. And it'll be right beside where we have our vertical farms. So it's all part of this big Food U thing. Yeah. But that's a huge effort we're fundraising for. And when that's done, we'll have a comprehensive plan of delivery of things year round. I would just encourage your audience to think outside the box. This was an outside the box approach. It was somebody that was on the food services side that reached out to horticulture. Of course, in horticulture, we grow the food crops. I mean, that's what we do. But we're most of the time, thinking commercial vegetable production or commercial fruit production or whatever, or whether it's greenhouse or field. And we've not really made a good connection with culinary or with food services. And for businesses that are, say medium sized to small, and maybe you're near a city or a town that's got, nice restaurants, or there's entertainment farming, there are things that you can do to get a brand that's locally known, where you're sourcing locally, and build that local food supply, and also the love for locally produced fruits and vegetables and herbs and flowers. And I think there are businesses that can grow in that regard and grow a reputation as a provider of really high quality, nutritious food year round, and make a name for themselves and connect with the culinary side as well. So I think that's where our students are. We had a culinary student recently that decided he wanted to come over to horticulture because he enjoyed it so much. He wanted to know how to grow the plants. And then we've got an engineering student that's transferring over to horticulture because he got so enthused with actually seeing things grow. It was like it touched his heart, and now that's all he wants to talk about. So we try and help students find their passion, and it may not be horticulture, and that's okay, but maybe it's on the culinary side, maybe it's on the social media side that's going to help us tell our story.